because I'm looking at my notes and I'm not really saying anything that we haven't already talked about. I do talk about how Hieronymus kind of looks like John Turturro, but that's not terribly interesting.
It's a little interesting. I'm Tom Dickinson.
And I'm Louis Midas.
And this is the Cloister Room,
a podcast about Doctor Who and other things.
How did you feel about the Masque of Mandragora?
I loved it.
Did you?
Yes.
Huh. This is one of the stories that I am kind of meh about. That is,
really?
This is regarded as a classic. This is one of the best loved. Well, probably not one of the best loved, but it's among the higher ranked Tom Baker stories from the Philip Hinchcliffe era, which is the highest ranked era in general. Most people look back on the Philip Hinchcliffe era and say those are the golden days. But anyhow, yeah, this is the third time I've seen the story, and I just I get bored with it.
Really?
Yeah.
Really, because it's funny because I do not get bored with it, or I didn't get on my one viewing. I did not get bored with it. No, because I really did not feel that there was any part where I wasn't being entertained. I didn't feel like there was any part that I considered slow, And the thing is, I don't know. I just thought. I constantly was thinking to myself, like, wow, there's a lot going on in this episode. Because, you've got the
nothing. That's what you've got. Nothing.
Wow. I can't remember the title of the episode.
The Mandragora.
Yes, the Mandragora.
The Mandragora Helix.
Yes, the Mandragora Helix. You've got that, and then, you've got the sort of cult leader / whatever guy, fortune teller, not fortune teller.
The astrologer guy.
Yeah, astrologer guy. You've got the evil uncle, and you've got
gotta love that evil uncle.
Yeah, yes, the good old evil uncle, and you've got the prince guy, and he wants to this is a pretty. It's just pretty interesting that they've got all these these sort of minor characters who are really got their own plans, and they're all trying to do their own thing, and they're all kind of clashing with each other, and it seems like the evil uncle and the astrology guy, they're on the same side, but they're not really, not that they're like on opposing sides exactly, but they definitely don't like each other.
Right.
I don't know.
Right. That's definitely true.
I don't know. I just really liked it. There's the whole lot I liked.
Well, I'm not going to tell you you're wrong, because as I said, this is a fairly well-regarded story.
It's funny because I didn't actually look this up because I have a tendency to sort of look up the Amazon reviews of the DVD release, and I didn't do that this time. So I'm actually a little surprised. I guess I shouldn't be surprised. I mean, I have amazing taste, but yeah, no, I really liked this episode. I mean, I don't know. I guess I just don't understand where you're coming from, because I agree with the masses on this one.
Well, I haven't said anything. All I said is that I didn't like it all that much.
Well,
so how would you understand where I'm coming from?
I can't conceive of a universe in which you did not like this episode as much as me.
Well, to be perfectly honest, I'm not entirely sure where I'm coming from, because I just, just something about it just didn't really do it for me, and I don't really have a coherent explanation as to what. I think, during part one, you got sort of the beginning part, which starts with the Doctor and Sarah Jane in the TARDIS, doing stuff, and then they find the other console room, and then they decide, all right, this is going to be our console room for a while, and all that's fine and good, and then And then you sort of switch to this medieval thing where these guys are like, oh no, this one's dying, and that one pretending he's sad, but he's not really sad. He's clearly responsible. And it's just like, that goes on and on for a while. And I get kind of tired of it. And it's like, oh, you would do well to heed me. That's not an actual line, but that's like my impression of the general tone of the episode. You would do well to heed me. Just spouting dialogue that I just don't think is all that interesting about the fact that you believe in astrology, but I believe in science. And stuff like that. And it's just like, I don't think the stars really do control our destiny. And they just talk about it, and then the Doctor just takes forever to show up.
Well, no, I thought...
Or at least it feels like he does to me.
Well, no, that's like the opening. That's like the opening scene in like the first episode in like any given season of Lost, where like you're watching this thing, you don't understand what's going on, and then you're like, how does this relate to the show that I love? And then all of a sudden it's like, bam, there's the Doctor, and here we go. I don't know. I liked that. No, there's something to be said for the dialogue. I mean, I don't really remember it all that well, but I mean, it's possible that it was terrible. But I don't know. I think it's kind of interesting, and I mean, I don't know. I think you're being a little harsh on it.
I'm not. It's not that. I'm not criticizing the story. It's perfectly well made. It's well written. The direction is good. A lot of the effects are pretty cool. There's some good spooky stuff, like people taking off their hoods and their balls of light instead of heads. Yeah. And part of it's made outside. I always love to see stuff outside. Yeah. Stuff filmed outside is great.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there's just something about it that loses me and then never gets me back.
Yeah. Well, okay. I guess I can't fault you for that.
I guess you can.
But I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I didn't seem to mind that, and it could very well be that it was just because it was my first viewing and I had no idea what was going on, and I was.
Well, even my first viewing, I felt that way too.
Oh well, then, I guess I don't know. I guess I don't understand it then. But
I guess not.
I don't know. No, and it's funny because but it's funny that you talk about that because it's funny that you talk about it dragging on and on forever because I actually took a note. Where I basically said the first episode sure is moving along in a nice clip.
Really? I did. Every episode, I'm like, how much longer? How much longer till we get to that cliffhanger?
Yeah, no, I thought it was moving along, or at least I did when I was watching it. I thought it was moving along at a nice pace. I don't know. I don't know.
I just don't get it.
Well,
sorry. I'm sorry, Masque of Mandragora. I'm sorry. Sacred cows of the Doctor Who fandom.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I wish I could like sympathize with you, but I can't because I was right there. I was right there with it the whole way through.
There are a lot of Tom Baker stories that I like less than I'm supposed to.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, and this is one of them. Like, and there's also like the Robots of Death I like less than I'm supposed to. The Brain of Morbius, which I like less than I'm supposed to. So I'm a bad fan. I'm a bad fan.
I guess so.
Conversely, there are a lot of Sylvester McCoy episodes that I like a lot more than I'm supposed to. So I just like the wrong things, I guess.
I guess so. It's almost like Doctor Who has something that's supposed to appeal to every kind of person, and maybe some things that appeal to one type of person don't appeal to another type of person, and we're all part of this rich existence of humanity.
No, that doesn't make any sense. So what did you think of the console room?
I liked it. I thought it was cool. I liked the secondary control room. I thought that was a neat little thing. It looked like old-fashioned, kind of almost like a smaller, cozier Eighth Doctor TARDIS almost.
Yeah. It has a very it's wood paneling.
Yeah.
It looks like whereas the Eighth Doctor control room looks like a cathedral or something. This looks like a tiny little chapel.
Right. Yeah.
Both very ecclesiastical.
Yes.
Apparently, Philip Hinchcliffe, the producer, didn't want to use the old one anymore because it was too hard to film in.
Okay.
Just because of the way it was set up.
Okay.
And so he said, let's get rid of that and make one that will be easier to film in. And I guess for some reason this was easier to film in. And then between seasons, he stopped being the producer, and Graham Williams, the new producer, said, well, what's the deal with that console room? And because it was made of wood, it had warped in storage between seasons. And he was like, yeah, just grab the old one again.
That's really kind of funny. I wouldn't have, it's also funny because I wouldn't have thought they would actually make it out of wood, but I mean, I guess, sure, why not? Well, because I was wondering about that, because, I mean, I guess it seems less odd now to know that the TARDIS has all these rooms, and then it stores different console rooms, and archives them, even ones that haven't been made yet. Once again, I'm trying to justify things from the classic series with things I saw in the new series.
Hey, that works.
But it seems kind of weird, and I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, the Doctor also suggests that this is one that he had used previously.
Oh yeah.
He says this is the old one, but we've never seen him use it before.
That's true. Yeah.
I don't know why the second Doctor's recorder is there.
Yeah, that must have happened. Maybe the first Doctor, when he was younger, also liked the recorder.
Could be.
And then, because it was kind of like, yeah, so like when the second Doctor came along, he kind of felt nostalgic for his younger days, and so he got it back out again. Or he got a recorder back out again.
That makes sense.
It makes as much sense as anything. Yeah, it's something I did find interesting was how actiony the fourth Doctor seemed to be. Because it seemed like he was using like some karate moves. He had some swordplay going on. Yeah, it seemed like a bit more actiony than I would have expected. Because I feel like in most of the fourth Doctor stories I've seen, he hasn't been that actiony. Where he's kind of been, like I guess he'll run around or something. But I mean, he's not really like keen to fight. I think
well, most of what you've seen is late fourth Doctor.
I guess that's true. So, but yeah, so this was kind of left over from when he was the third Doctor.
I think it's a combination of, like, first of all, he's a little bit younger than he would later become.
Well, is that how that works?
Yes. And second of all, I think at this time he was more up for stuff. Like, whereas he got grumpier as time went on and would complain about things more. So I think he was a little bit less egotistical at this point.
That's kind of funny because I would have said it looked like Tom Baker was having a lot of fun doing this, but I guess it was really that he just was too afraid to try and demand his own ways. He had yet to demand a cabbage for his shoulder.
Yes. Well, he may well have been having a whale of a time, but this was I mean he was a younger man now. Like this is the beginning of season 14. And, we spent a lot of time watching season 18.
That's true.
So that's 4 years.
Yeah.
A lot can happen in 4 years.
Well, yeah, Matt Smith is definitely older, and he's only been doing this, 3 seasons, but kind of 4 years, I guess. Or, whatever. I don't know, that's kind of interesting that I've kind of, that I have in my mind this, like, vision of the fourth Doctor, and it's really only a part of his run that's like that, where he's old and grumpy.
I don't know if that's necessarily true that he decided he didn't want to do any running around stuff because he was too old. It's just that's my explanation, my theory.
Right. Yeah.
It's not canon.
Yeah.
This is the first ever story to explain, and it doesn't even really explain the whole thing with languages.
Oh yeah. We talked about this because I think we mentioned it in Planet of the Spiders. When we were talking about Planet of the Spiders, we weren't actually in Planet of the Spiders. We did not actually have dialogue in Planet of the Spiders.
We did not. We didn't. We weren't one of those people on Metabolist 3 who were like terrible at acting.
Right.
Said things like, "No, my husband, you must not go." that one lady.
Right. Exactly.
We were not that lady.
No, we weren't. We most certainly were not. But no, I think we talked about this when we talked about Planet of the Spiders.
And all he says is that it's a Time Lord gift that I have shared with you.
Right. Kind of like you share a Facebook album with a group of friends or something.
Yes, he has tagged her in the Time Lord's telepathic circuits, in the TARDIS telepathic circuit. I mean, it's not. I don't think it's actually properly explained until the end of the world, when the Ninth Doctor tells Rose, the TARDIS has gotten inside of your head using telepathy and mess with your brain so that you can now understand all languages.
Right. And I mean, I'm complete, and it almost is, it almost doesn't need to be explained in the classic series, because, I mean, especially when you get a couple seasons in, or as the case may be, 14 seasons in, I think, everyone, all the viewers anyway, have just kind of accepted this is just how things happen. And there's really no point to start explaining things now. Not in the classic series. I mean, like, which may very well be why they chose to so early on in series 1 of the new series to sort of iron these things out and sort of explain them away. Which, that works.
Yeah, I think a modern, more, I mean, I hate to use this term, but I think a modern, more sophisticated audience, like who's seen more sci-fi stuff, is probably more demanding of explanations like that.
Yeah, that tends to be the case, I think, because I feel like, maybe this isn't actually true, but I feel like at the time, people would just kind of accept this as what was happening, and they would just kind of, I don't know, I feel like the demand for suspension of disbelief is much higher now than it was then. But I don't know, I could just be making stuff up because I don't have any like sources or anything to back that claim up. But I mean, at the same time, New Who kind of does sort of take that more grounded tack where they've got companions with families who miss them when they go away and stuff like that, and whereas that wasn't as big of a deal in the classic series, where they would just go away and have fun, come back, and it was fine. And that stuff wasn't really delved into much. Yeah, well,
when the Fourth Doctor and the Third Doctor go away, instead of having the companion having a family that misses them, they're missed by the military.
Right.
It's like the military misses you.
And I think the military misses everyone.
But by this point, they're pretty much done with UNIT.
Yeah.
Actually, the last UNIT story of the Tom Baker era was the story right before this.
Ah, there you go.
The Seeds of Doom, which is a much better story. much better story than this.
Now, is that one that like most of the fandom hates and you just happen to love?
No, I'm on the same page with everyone on that one.
Oh, okay.
That one is widely regarded as a classic, and I happen to agree. just this one. I just don't think the characters in the historical setting are that interesting. I don't think the notion of like this evil cult of whatever is all that interesting. I just don't think it's interesting. It just doesn't interest me.
Okay.
I'm just not interested.
Well, I mean, I can't argue with that. I can't tell you that you're wrong, that you are interested in it. I always bring this up, and I feel like it would be wrong of me to not bring it up again. I really like how much fun you can have with Doctor Who when you don't have the psychic paper. Like where, I think this is in the first episode, where the Doctor is confronted with some guards or soldiers or whatever, and they demand that he produces his documents, and the Doctor produces a noisemaker and then steals a horse.
Okay, yeah. I mean, like I said, I'm acting because you like the story so much, and I was kind of like meh on it. I'm acting like I think it's awful, and I don't think it's awful. I just think it's like a 6.5 or a 7.
Okay, I get that now.
And I mean, the notion of the Doctor producing a noisemaker and stealing a horse. I mean, I can't hate that.
Right, I mean, how could you? And I mean, if this were the new series, the Doctor would have just pulled out his psychic paper and would have been instantly accepted as being like, oh yeah, of course, you're the soothsayer or whatever. Of course you are. Come with us. And then the scene that would have followed it, was where, or no, because the actual, like, he gets captured, I think, and then, he's trying to explain, like, oh no, blah, 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 all the stuff, and he's trying to explain about the threat. All of that could have happened if he had just waved the psychic paper around and been like, I'm a soothsayer, and it would have been a much duller, more boring way to tell it. but this is much better.
You know, if it were the new series, he could just, speak to the horse.
That's right.
He would just ask the horse for permission.
And that would have just been boring as heck. Actually, no, that would have been interesting. But yeah, no, I think the psychic paper probably doesn't add anything. I don't think it adds anything that was missing anyway.
Yeah, it makes certain things easier for the Doctor, usually.
Right.
He doesn't use it as much as he used to, I don't think, though. So.
No. Thankfully.
He's more inclined to, just say nonsensical stuff to sort of disarm people into trusting him.
Right, and I think that's the way it ought to be. I actually kind of like the plot kind of concept of
the
like
plot?
Yeah, no, I kind of like the idea that the Mandragora helix or whatever is trying to gain power at the start of a renaissance and like trying to sort of use that to his advantage or whatever its advantage. It's kind of a neat concept.
Yeah, it is a neat idea, and I like the hint that the Mandragora helix is coming back in 500 years.
Oh yeah.
And I think there are various spin-off thingies that have done it.
Oh yeah.
In fact, there is actually there's a 10th Doctor novel that involves the Mandragora helix.
Ah.
And I'm not crazy about the new series novels, but this one particular one was actually really good.
Oh really?
Yeah, I forget the name of it. Let me look up the name of it. Yes, it is. It's called Beautiful Chaos. By Gary Russell. And it features the 10th Doctor and Donna. And it also heavily features Wilf. And portions of it are set with an encounter between the Doctor and Wilf between Journey's End and the End of Time.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, and this came out before the End of Time. It came out during that gap. And I read it at the time when it came out, and I really liked it. I've read like 2 or 3 of these, and this is the only one I really liked.
I think I've read one of the new series books all the way through. I own quite a few, but I just haven't actually read them.
Yeah, I own more than I have read as well.
Yeah. Well, that's a chronic problem with me for all kinds of books.
Yes, I have a ton of books that I will never read.
They will just gather dust.
I recently started reading the New Adventures. Those are the 7th Doctor novels set after the classic series. I'm reading the first one, and it's not good.
Oh. Well then.
I'm told they get better.
Yeah, that kind of... I think that's generally true of most media.
Lots of things get better.
Yes.
I really like Sarah Jane, though.
Yeah. She's a neat companion. She does stuff. She's cool.
I think she's interesting without being like abrasive.
Yeah.
She's not like interesting in the way that Turlo is interesting, or in the way that Tegan is interesting.
Right.
But she's like she's friendly to the Doctor, but she like calls him out when he's saying something that's dumb or doesn't make sense, or like not giving straight answers to questions. But I just like the 4th Doctor and Sarah Jane a lot.
Yeah. And it's interesting, 'cause I haven't seen a whole lot of the 4th Doctor and Sarah Jane, because I don't know why, but in my mind, when I, like, early on in my Doctor Who fandom, when I pictured the 4th Doctor, I pictured him with Sarah Jane, and for some weird reason, I thought he kind of stuck with Sarah Jane the whole way through. I don't know why I thought that, but it seems like I've seen surprisingly little of the 4th Doctor with Sarah Jane. It's still more than I've seen of the 4th Doctor and Leela, but I think the only episodes I've seen with the 4th Doctor and Sarah Jane would be the Genesis of the Daleks, and I feel like there was another one.
I mean, we watched one with the 3rd Doctor and Sarah Jane for this show. We did the Planet of the Spiders.
Right. But anyway, the point being, I have not actually seen all that much of the 4th Doctor and Sarah Jane, and no, I really like that dynamic though.
Yeah, she's very she plays it straight. Mm-hmm. She's like very she's kind of serious. Mm-hmm. And the Doctor is absolutely not. The 4th Doctor is absolutely not.
Right.
So it's, I don't know, it's a very interesting dynamic for them.
Yeah, it seems to work well. I want to see more of it. Someday I will.
Yeah. Oh, did you also see, I don't think we watched it for the show, but I think you mentioned that you had seen The Hand of Fear.
Oh, yes, that was it. Yes.
In which she says, Eldrad must live, over and over. Eldrad must live.
That's right. Yeah. So you don't get that good of a sense of who she is as a character in that one.
Yes, because she's possessed.
Right.
As opposed to this story, where she's merely hypnotized.
Right, totally different.
Or was she possessed? Was she hypnotized or possessed? I don't know.
Oh, it could.
These fine distinctions didn't really rub off on me because of how boring it was. Ugh.
Yeah, well, I don't think it's ever directly stated, probably because, the production team probably didn't really even care, much like they didn't care about how the translation matrix worked.
I'm always kind of interested to know what we are going to say about stories that are beloved or despised, because I think we got some skeptical responses when we were going through and doing one story from each Doctor back in the early days of the show. That was like, you guys didn't really like the Caves of Androzani all that much, but you loved the Happiness Patrol, which caused some people to say, well, that's weird. And some people say, yeah, this is my kind of show. I mean, not a lot of people, because we've never gotten a lot of feedback, but I heard at least one person express both of those things.
Well, I almost want to go back and rewatch the Happiness Patrol, because I do remember really liking it. But yeah, I don't, and by that same token, I'd like to go back and rewatch the Caves of Androzani. Yeah, I don't know. I guess we have in the past had unconventional opinions about things.
Yeah. And I'm always interested to hear what you're going to say, because you're a lot less attuned than I am to what the impression of these stories is out there in the world.
That's true.
True. You don't tend to know what you're supposed to like.
That's true. I don't. I'm largely oblivious to these things.
Yeah, and I try not to tell you.
Well, no, and I like it being kept a secret from me. Like I don't. Not that I actively avoid looking at the Mighty 200 list, but I do. I think I've only actually looked it up like once, maybe, and only very briefly for reference, and then I haven't looked at it since, and I don't know where things fall on it. So yeah, I don't have a very good read on when anything or how anything is perceived. I'm completely and utterly oblivious.
Yep. Yeah, these are things. I mean, I haven't been a fan for that much longer than you have, but through the exercise of going through and watching all of these in order and reading people's blog posts about it, I have tended to get a sense of oh, this is a story that back in the 80s everyone thought was great, but then in the 90s there was this reappraisal of it, and then everyone started to hate it, but now they kind of like it again. Because all of each story has its own history of fan reception.
Well, there you go. That's right. Well, I remember you talking about Time Flight, how it was
yeah,
kind of meh, but then turned really hated or something.
Yeah, it was much more it was more warmly regarded at the time of its broadcast.
These are things that I do find interesting, but I kind of like finding them out after I've already said whether or not I liked an episode, because I feel like, I don't know, I like to see how things match up to my own opinion, and I worry about, I don't know, being influenced. Because I don't want to share. I don't necessarily want to share anyone's opinion, But if I happen to share someone's opinion just by complete happenstance, I'm okay with that.
Well, that's good, because in this case, you sure don't share mine.
That's right.
Louis, I think it is time to randomly select the story to be watched after the Masque of Mandragora.
I think you might be right.
All right, well then I'll do it.
Good.
All right. It's Paradise Towers.
Ooh, isn't that the story directly following Time in the Rani?
It might well be. It's in that same season, at least. It probably is. It's a very interesting story.
Oh, is it?
I'm interested in it.
Well, okay then. I guess I am too then.
Yes, it is the second serial of that season, so it is that puts it right after Time in the Rani, right before Delta and the Bannerman.
Well, I'm looking forward to that.
I think I am too.
It certainly can't be less good than Time in the Rani, at least in my opinion.
Well,
I know not everyone feels that way.
Yeah, a lot of people do not like Paradise Towers at all. So,
oh, okay.
So you may not like it at all.
I guess we will wait and see.